Hey everyone, Michael here, aka Donkey, wanting to show you guys my stream setup today. So I know this is something that a lot of streamers like to do, so I want to show you guys what kind of gear I use, how my setup is here in the attic. So in the house, I have this little spot right here in the corner, which is my makeshift desk and where the stream happens. Yep, that's it, folks. So the first thing you'll notice is that it's not very set up like a normal streaming space. There's a lot of junk, a lot of dust, dirt, and bugs, and it's just an attic space. I mean, there's nothing really fancy about it. But we come over here, and we have our nice swivel chair. Had this thing for a few years now, and that probably cost me like 10 bucks. Little dog pillow. I think we got that for free, so that didn't cost anything. And the actual hardware of the setup, this little piece of foam here, we got for free as well, and that sits on 2 kitchen stools, which we also got for free. So my desk space is pretty cheap. Not a normal desk, of course, because you can lift this entire thing up and flip the whole setup. But yeah, it works. It's free. But at one point in the future, I will upgrade it. That's kind of the overall hardware that I have right here. I want to go over more of the components that I have, different pieces that I purchased along the way to make the stream possible. So this includes a mic, video capture cards, a tripod for the camera, and various other things that I just bought. The obvious first thing that I have that you saw in the previous video was my laptop. It is a Predator Helios 300. I believe it's an Asus built system, but it is just a laptop. I don't have a big gaming PC tower, nothing like that. I stream and I play Dead by Daylight all through my PC, which is super convenient that it works. It's pretty much the basic minimum setup that you can have, at least for me, to run the game smoothly and not overheat, even though it does build up a lot of heat. I do have a fan to keep it cool though. But because the laptop overheats so much, I do have this Targus fan. Super cheap, got this thing at Best Buy for, I think it was like 20 bucks maybe. Has a little plug-in in the back right there. And the 2 fans, you can see them, that's it. Just the 2 fans, super simple. Plug and play, has a USB, you can plug straight into your computer and it works pretty much immediately. No on or off switch, super cheap. I just bought that at Best Buy. And it helps keep it cool. I think it runs about 70, 75 Celsius is what the temperature gets to my GPU, which is, not the best, but it's not gonna cause any major damage to the components of the laptop, which is super nice. Next piece I have are these headphones. Super cheap headphones that I use to just listen with. There's no mic built into these. That's why I use my FIFA mic here. But these are RIG, so RIG 400 headphones. Nothing fancy about them. They're pretty cheap. I think they were also about 15, 20 bucks on Amazon. The earpieces pop out, so you can put them at different intervals. There are three different spots you can switch those between, because nothing really moves here at the top. This is all just one built frame. So these are super cheap headphones. Nothing fancy about them. They do have a little spot for a microphone jack, but I don't think it works. I've used it a couple times on the console and the Xbox, and I've had no luck getting them to work. So they just go on, and I just use it to listen to, and then use my Fifine mic for the audio. And speaking of that mic, yes, it is a Fifine audio microphone. Nothing fancy about it. Little dial to adjust your levels in the front, headphone jack in the back, and it comes with this nice little stand. I think this was about $30, but I did get it for free from my brother-in-law, so thank you, Alex, for that. It's super easy to use, plug and play USB into the laptop. It has the levels in the front, so I can turn it down, all the way down. Turn it back up, and then we're back to normal. So super easy, has a little blue LED that pops up once you plug it in, so you know it's working, it's on. Of course, you go check Streamlabs to make sure your levels are good. But yeah, super easy mic to use. I think the audio quality is just fine for what I'm using compared to $300, $400 omnidirectional mic. I'm just not in the budget for that right now. Yes, one day it'd be great to have, but little mic on a stand, plugged in USB, can't beat it. Super easy. So for my mouse that I use, I actually don't have a standard mouse. Some of you guys know that I use a Logitech Trackball mouse. This is a M570. So yeah, M570 Logitech Trackball mouse. Oh yeah, super fancy. It has the 2 buttons up there. You're right there. 2 additional buttons there. Scroll wheel. Yeah. So nothing crazy about this. I think this was like $15 or $10 at Staples. But yeah, it works really well. I've had it for, gosh, probably 7 years now, and it still works. I clean it out because you can take the ball out. Easy as that. Comes out. You can just clean up the little sensors that are in there, pop it back in, and you're good to go. So super easy, simple to use. And when it comes to the piece of foam desk that you saw earlier, I don't have a mouse pad or anything. So if I had a traditional mouse, it'd be a little tough to move on the piece of foam. But since you just have to use your thumb, it's easy. Just put it in one place and you're all set. I'm talking about a bunch of things that are plugged in USB into my laptop. Because I don't have a big tower or a PC, I have only 3 USB ports. So my brother-in-law gave me this Anker USB Hub. Yep, comes with 4 USB ports on the side, and then you just plug this in to your laptop on the side as well. So that goes into my mic, my cooling fan, the mouse, all goes into that hub. Super easy to use, plug and play, goes into the laptop, and the computer detects all the different sources and inputs. Super easy to use, and I think this honestly would be maybe $5-10 on Amazon, super cheap. But I did fortunately get it for free, which is very nice. So the last major piece of equipment that I have is the camera. Of course, to work that, I have a little 1 meter HDMI cable. Nothing fancy about it. Probably just $1, $2, Best Buy, Staples, whatever. So HDMI, that goes to this HDMI video capture card. Also super cheap, but works really well. The USB port right here is a little bent. But it still works. I got this thing for I think $15 on Amazon. There's a bunch of different names of these, and you'll see these a lot if you just go to type in a video capture card. And if you search for the cheapest ones, there'll be a bunch of different names, but you can get kind of any of them and they do work. So cheap option, but it works really well. And that plugs into this HDMI mini, which goes into my Sony camera. So video capture card into the laptop, HDMI into the capture card, and the other end of the HDMI goes into the full to mini, and that goes into my camera. The camera I use is probably the most expensive piece of equipment that I have out of everything you've seen so far, and that is a Sony A73. So I do, other than Twitch and playing video games and streaming it, I do weddings and real estate photography, so I use this camera primarily for those purposes, but it is nice to have a really high quality HD camera to use for streaming. I also have a Tamron 17-28 lens that is attached to it, and that's primarily what I use to film and what you're seeing here in the footage. So yeah, it's super clean, super crisp, has a really good bokeh effect, so if you like getting really close, everything behind me should be blurry. You pull away, the autofocus is really nice. Now, the camera itself is the whole bundle, probably $3,000 or so. So yeah, it's by far the most expensive piece of equipment I have, but I did have it before I started Twitch. So I don't know if you want to count it or not, but it is nice to have that you can use something from a different kind of work and then bring it over to here to Twitch. It just is so nice to have. So I do have the piece of foam that is super cheap sitting on kitchen stools, but at least my camera quality is really nice. That is everything that I use to stream with, all the necessary components that I need for my Twitch setup on the laptop, on the piece of foam desk, held up by the kitchen stools. Super cheap setup, except for the camera, obviously. But one day I will get a real desk, I hope, and then get some AC up in the attic because it is super hot up here. I sweat all the time. But thank you for hanging out with me, just checking it out, seeing what my setup is. I'd love to hear in the comments down below what you use for your setup, what kind of gear you have, any recommendations that you might suggest for me. Eventually, one day, I will build a PC Probably use Newegg for that and get different various parts and components and put that together on stream. I think it'd be awesome. But the laptop works for now until it overheats and dies. So thank you for taking some time out of your day to watch this video and hang out with me. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. A rating is always appreciated. And if you feel like subscribing, you don't have to, but it is free and it always helps out me and the channel here. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.